Hi, I'm Gordon, Fat Old Climber, and I've been taking Mounjaro since November last year. If you're watching this video on Monday, I'm filming it on Wednesday, but if you're watching it on Monday, it will be my 9-month anniversary of starting to take Mounjaro. I'll sort out a 9-month results video when I get back from my trip, but on Monday, when you're watching this, probably, I'll be driving back up the road from my friends down south. I will have had a long week of probably excess, which I'll then have to recover from. But I think I said in a video I did before, I'm not doing this so that I can't have a life. So I do fully intend to enjoy my time away. So anyway, what do we want to talk about today? Here we have a quick pen. This is my current 15 milligram pen. And like a lot of people, I don't take 15 milligram doses from this. And it's probably one of the first things that I realised when I was looking at getting Mounjaro is that the pens, whilst expensive, it's possible to increase the value for money by short dosing, i.e. taking a shorter dose than is stated on the pen. Over my now 9 months of taking Mounjaro, I've learned a lot and I've figured out a lot myself and I've researched a lot. And one of the things I've found more common than anything is whenever I talk about short dosing or microdosing or split dosing, whatever you want to call it, there's a few questions that always come up. And I wanted to come back and address that. Mainly because I feel like no matter how many times I address it, there's always going to be someone watching a video that didn't see a previous video. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks. I posted a video last week on a calculator that I'd created, this thing, which allows you to put in your pen size, your desired dose, press a button and it'll tell you how many clicks. The clicks, in case you don't know, are how you work out a short dose. And I also added the functionality of being able to put in a different dosing schedule, 7 days, 6 days, 5 days, 4 days, and 3.5, which I didn't want to go any further than that. I did consider going the other way because I know that when people are tapering, when people are microdosing, one of the things they do is reduce the amount of dose, and the other thing that some people do is reduce the frequency of injection. So I considered going higher than 7, but I just thought it's getting busy enough. There's too many buttons as is, so I left it as it was. And it's focused on helping people manage it by reducing the dose they're taking from a pen. So, but what was interesting was I did a short version of the video and I posted it on YouTube and that was fine. But then I've been on TikTok for a while just doing some climbing videos, but I haven't really used it. So I thought I'll put that short on TikTok. To say it went nuts is an understatement. I think I had less than 100 followers on TikTok when I posted that video. By the end of the day, it had been viewed over 150,000 times and I had 1,200 followers. So I think Mounjaro is quite popular on TikTok, but that brought in a whole new bunch of subscribers and a whole new bunch of questions about short dosing. So I just want to talk about it. I've talked about it before, lots of people have talked about it before, but if you're in any doubt, I just want to clarify it. So if you don't know, the way a quick pen works is there's a plunger in here, and to use it, you put a needle on, obviously. I'm not going to do it because this is my active pen. Still got possibly 3 more doses out of it, certainly 2. And you give it a little click and a prime, and that's to get rid of any air bubbles. But then you give a full dose is you prime it up to the end. Interesting, it's not going to go to the end because it's already been used quite a bit. But when it goes to its end, there's a little 1 here. And that, then you inject it, and that's a full dose, which for this pen would be 15 milligrams. So the way short dosing works, and I'll demonstrate it on my calculator here. If I wanted to take 7.5 milligrams from this pen, I would just click 15, I would type in 7.5, I would hit calculate, and it would tell me how many clicks. And for 7.5, that would be 30 clicks. So all you do is if you listen, it clicked, and a full dose is 60 clicks. So you actually count the clicks. I've actually drawn a little line on this one to say that's the 30 click mark. So you basically just count the number of clicks, then inject, and that's you then taking your short dose, which in this case would be 7.5. So the way the calculator works, if I was on a 15 milligram pen and I was taking 6.25, I'd put those numbers in and it would spit out a number which I forget. Was it 25? Can't remember. This number. And then also, one of the things I've talked about a lot is using the fifth dose. If you don't know what the fifth dose is, where have you been? Have you been under a rock? If you don't know what the fifth dose is, the pen is designed to give 4 full doses. When you give 4 full doses, it will be here. If you look at this mark here, I've drawn a marker where the last dose is. I'll point it out. It'll be here. And there's this much left. Now, let me just address some things. Before I go on, I want to give a disclaimer. I don't always give a disclaimer, but I just want to remind people, I'm not a medical professional. I have no pharmaceutical knowledge other than stuff I've learned and researched over the last 9 months. Most of what we're going to talk about in this video is going against the manufacturer's instructions for how to use a pen, and these are decisions that I'm making about what I'm doing. Sure, I'm sharing it with other people, but when I got into this and started looking, and I realised that a lot of these ways of using the pen are not just idiots somewhere has decided to do them. In a lot of cases, there are people whose doctor or pharmacist is recommending getting the bigger pen and short dosing to get more value for money. Now, obviously, if you're somewhere that your insurance is paying for it or the NHS is paying for it, then you don't really need to worry about it. But if you're paying for this yourself, £200 for a 15 milligram pen that gives you 4 doses is a lot worse, is a lot more expensive than £200 for a 15 milligram pen that gives you 5 doses, which is what the golden dose would give you, that extra dose. But if you're only taking 7.5 milligrams out of it, and you take the golden dose, you're getting 10 doses out of this for £200. That's £20 a dose instead of £50 a dose. So that's the whole point of it. The whole point of short dosing. I had some questions on TikTok. Why would you want to do this? The point is, for a lot of people, even taking this is a stretch. For a lot of people, they can barely afford it, or maybe even can't afford it. And short dosing is a way to get increased value for money. So when we go back to the fifth dose, the way that I recommend extracting the fifth dose is to use a syringe. And this is a medical grade syringe. I don't use them. I got these after there had been some chatter on one of my videos about the fact that I was using Amazon ones and they're not technically certified for pharmaceutical use, which is true. It says they're sterile, but you can't really trust it. So, but these ones here I find too flimsy, and I find when I try and use them, I find it harder to use these. So I'm back to using the Amazon ones. If you're interested in where to get these or where to get the Amazon ones, I'll put my affiliate links in the description of the video. You can just pick and choose. My recommendation is get as close to the needle size as you're used to for the needles you get for your quick pen. So the interesting thing about insulin syringes, not just any old syringe, is they're not, hopefully you'll see this, they're not, the scale isn't milliliters. Although this one happens to be a 0.5 milliliter syringe, the scale isn't in milliliters, the scale is in units. 50 units equals 0.5 of a milliliter, or 100 units equals 1 milliliter. So a full dose from any pen is 0.6 milliliters, which coincidentally is 60 units. So if you're taking a full dose and you have a 100 unit syringe, you're going to want to extract 60 units. Now, where have we had that number before? That's the number of clicks a full dose is. So the number of clicks to give a full dose is exactly the same as the number of units to give that dose. Therefore, if I'm taking 30 clicks from this pen and I'm on the golden dose, that would be 30 units with this syringe. So that's why when you look at the calculator, the result says clicks or units, and it'll give you a number which is the same. In fact, if you press the little I, you'll see it says it's the number of clicks or the number of units on a U100 syringe. Now, I didn't know there were different syringes, but someone added a comment on my TikTok video saying 60 units isn't the same for all pens. So when I looked into it, this is true. However, it's only true if you're using insulin syringes designed for animals or pets, and they're not called U100 pens. This is a U100 pen. I don't know if you can see this, but it says there, single use only for U100 micro injector. So the U100, it's not the size of the syringe. It basically means that for this 100 units equals 1 milliliter. So if you've got a U50 or a U20, then you're using syringes designed for pets. I'm not saying don't use them, but you need to work out what 0.6 milliliters is on your weird animal syringe. So that was it. A short dose, counting clicks for all the uses of the pen, and for the golden dose, for the bit at the end, I use a syringe. Number of units, same number of clicks. A few things. One, I keep getting asked this question: should I draw the golden dose out of the syringe and put the syringe in the fridge and keep it in there instead of keeping the pen? I'm genuinely at a loss as why you would want to do that. This thing here is designed to hold this liquid. This thing here is designed for drawing in liquid and injecting it. It's not designed for storing liquid. So my take on it, you could do what you like, obviously. My take on it is I'm going to leave the golden dose, however many extractions it takes to use it. I'm going to keep it in the pen, keep the pen in the fridge, and I'll take an injection every week or whatever my dosing schedule is from the golden dose. So the other question that short dosing raises is, what about the pen needles? My provider has always given me 6 pen needles, which means I still haven't got to this. I'm 9 months in, I've still got plenty. I've got plenty to spare. But some providers only provide 4, which means even if you want the golden dose, you won't have enough needles. So they're easily accessible in the links that I put in the description. I think the last link is where to buy pen needles. I think it's Chemist for You. The link I've put in is for a 31G 5 millimeters. You should get the size that you're used to. Some providers give you 4 millimeter pens, some give you 6 millimeter pens. My provider's always given me 5. So I just replaced mine with 5. So I've just ordered some. I will use them, I will need them eventually, and I got the 5 milliliter ones. So that addresses that. But the big elephant in the room is the pen only lasts 30 days. Now, I've talked about this at great length. My latest overall everything you need to know about a pen video talked about this. I got the Lily instructions out and I looked over them, and the thing about it is, this is where you need to make your own decisions. The manufacturer's instructions state, when you get your pen, store it in the fridge. I think it gives you a temperature that it must be stored below. But once you start using it, you may keep it unrefrigerated and dispose of it after 30 days. Now, how that actually works, 30 days is actually enough to get 5 injections, if you say the first injection is at day 0. So if all you're doing is taking the 5th dose, then store it in the fridge, store it outside. It'll only last not outside. Store it in the fridge, keep it outside the fridge. You'll still get your 5 injections, including the golden dose. But if you're doing anything more dramatic than that, if you're short dosing, then 30 days isn't going to be long enough. So this is where you need to decide, am I going to follow the guidelines of the manufacturers, which state you may leave it unrefrigerated, in which case 30 days. It doesn't state how long, it doesn't say how long it will last for if it's refrigerated. The pen's shelf life, this has got an expiry date of December 2026. So the drug's lasting a long time. What Lily says is that once you use it, you begin to increase the chance of adding contamination. I imagine that's true. But if you're going to introduce contamination, surely you want it to be refrigerated. One of the points of refrigerating to control contamination and the spread of viruses. So here's what I do. And anti-stress is what I do. But it's also what a lot of other people do. It's also what some doctors and pharmacists prescribe. I use a bigger pen, I short dose from it. So for example, I might use this for 10 injections once a week, i.e. 10 weeks. What I do is I keep it in the fridge all the time. When I want to use it, I take it out, I get ready, I stick on the needle, I prime it, count my clicks, inject, and put it back in. It's back in the fridge in 5 minutes. Some people think that it needs to be kept out of the fridge for a while before you inject. The best I can find out is that can stop the injection stinging. That's only an issue if you find the injection sting. With the exception of one injection where I screwed things up, I've never even felt my injections before. So I keep it in the fridge, and I'm happy. And I'm happy. I'm at the stage now when my pens aren't lasting 10 weeks because I'm taking it more frequently than 7 days. I think they're now lasting about 6 weeks. So what I do, I keep it in the fridge. I very, very diligently clean the seal at the end before use, and now let it dry because you don't want to introduce alcohol into the drug. I let it dry, I use it, I clean it again, and I put it back in the fridge. So I'm not going to tell you to do that. I'm not even going to tell you you should do that. I'm just telling you I do it and a lot of other people do it. But if your concern is it only lasts 30 days, then have a think. How much sense does it make that you would keep this thing refrigerated to keep it viable, keep it fresh, and then as soon as you start using it, keep it out of the fridge? It makes no sense to me. So you make your own decisions, but that answers the question, how can you short dose? How can you extend the life of the pen if it only lasts for 30 days? That's how myself and a lot of other people handle it. So what do you think? What are you doing? Are you short dosing? Are you microdosing? Are you splitting your dose? Or do you diligently stick to injecting exactly the dose it says on the pen once every 7 days? There's nothing wrong with that. So let me know in the comments, what dosing schedule are you on? Do you split dose? Do you microdose? What do you think of the whole idea that the 30 days is only if it's kept out of the fridge, and if you keep it in the fridge, it should be able to last a lot longer than 30 days? Some people are risk averse. Some people don't need to think about maximising the value for money from their pen. I had a commenter who had done some research. I haven't validated this research. This is coming from them. I think they'd spoken to a chemist or a pharmacist who'd said the nature of this drug say that if kept refrigerated, it will stay fresh for 7 weeks before it starts to degrade. And there's no research into how quickly it will degrade. So the way I look at it is, if I'm keeping this pen on the go for 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, I'm happy. The worst that's going to happen, assuming when you look at it, it's not cloudy. As per the instructions, if you look at it and it's cloudy, chuck it because it's contaminated. But assuming it's not contaminated, the worst that's going to happen is once it starts to degrade, it doesn't become poison. its effectiveness is reduced. So you might find, I haven't found, but you might find by the end of these 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks that you notice a reduction in effectiveness. If you do, then change it up. Don't keep that. Don't doggedly stick to something that's not working. So that's it. If you haven't seen the click count calculator, I'll put a link in the description to both the video where I talk about it. It might be worthwhile looking at it because I talk through what it's doing, but also I'll put a link to the calculator. It's just hosted on a website that I happen to have through the work. It'll work on your phone, but it works in a web browser, so it's not an app. So if this content was interesting and useful, don't forget to smash the like button. And if you're not a subscriber, it still surprises me that even although my Mounjaro videos get watched, get a very, very high watch rate, and I have a lot of subscribers, as much as 80% of the people watching are not subscribers. So if you're one of those 80% and you're enjoying this and finding this useful, then consider subscribing. It'll do a lot for it does a lot for the channel. So I put the calculator together. Took me some time. I don't charge for anyone to use it. It's free to use. Bear in mind though, it's just put together from information that was already contained in GLP-1 plotter, and a wee bit of simple calculation. It's not advice. You need to decide yourself whether you want to change, whether you want to short dose or change your schedule. My recommendation would be is that you don't change anything without speaking to your doctor. But even if you do, it's your decision. It's up to you. If you decide to do anything out with the guidance or the instructions of the manufacturer, then it's your responsibility. So I should get my 9-month results video finished and posted for next week. So if you're subscribed and you've rang that bell, you'll be told about it. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.